We hate her. Everyone hates her. We've created a new supervillain in the metal universe. SA, cults, ticket scams, all wound up in what should be the most anticipated band comeback in the past century. I don't want to say it, man, but Linkin Park may have done an oopsie. You dabble with Linkin Park, you dabble with the news, we don't really care too much to really get into it like Sherlock Holmes over here. Bro, I'm not an expert on LP, but I did my homework and there is so many dots to connect. If you don't know who Linkin Park is, hi, welcome to Earth. You must have just landed. Formed in 1996, they were classified as alternative rock and new metal. If you know Linkin Park, you know that they make music that it's like nothing else. This band was hugely successful. Honestly, I would say they still are, selling over 100 million records worldwide. There was a couple dice throws in the beginning, but the band has practically carried the same members throughout the whole career. That leads us to the tragedy of this band, and that is that Chester Bennington took his own life in 2017.
After the tragic death of Linkin Park's lead singer, Chester Bennington.
Chester Bennington was just 41, the lead vocalist for Linkin Park. But this morning, Linkin Park is a band in mourning.
This is not a band that had sort of faded away. This is a band that was very relevant and vibrant and had a successful career.
Bennington, a husband and father of 6, long struggled with drugs and alcohol.
Chester's story is actually really heartbreaking if you want to go and look into it. But fast forward to a couple weeks ago, Linkin Park announced a comeback. We're talking new single, album, tour. They launched harder than any relationship I've seen on Instagram. Introducing the new singer, Emily Armstrong and Colin Brighton, to replace Rob on the drums. Mike Shinoda did he should be a Star Wars character. He tweeted that they had every intention to continue the band. They just had some like rebuilding to do, questions to ask and answer. So I guess this day was coming. Emily Armstrong, she has been doing the music grind for a while now, but I'm not gonna lie, it almost feels like I'm doing a video on another TikToker, even though she's in this huge massive Linkin Park band now. There is not a huge array of information about her on the internet. She was a singer and one of the founders of a band called Dead Sarah. The band started formed in 2002 as a teenager with a friend, age 15 and 16. I couldn't tell you what I was doing at that age. Probably still learning how to butter bread. I wouldn't say they were tiny. I saw them sitting at like 620k at some point. But I had a sneaky suspicion at that point that just like me, everybody else was going onto their page to like check them out. I see you, we're all nosy. Because since then it's dropped down to like the 500s. I don't want to say again because I didn't know who they were. I was doing some snooping like the rest of the internet. I don't know what that was. I'm terrible with gestures. The other day I went up to my mate and I as in like, I got you? No, apparently this means I've got like a secret or something. A bit of drama has come out of this new era with Emily. There was huge anticipation around like this 100-hour countdown. I like him, but I don't do him like that. So I wasn't there. Counted back from 100, counted back up to 9:05. Y'all do your dates opposite in this States, so like it confuses me, but it spelled out September 5th. That was on YouTube Live. Come here, mate. They did that right, man. Marketing 101. The anticipation was huge. But knowing how their band is and how hard we all love Chester, maybe a quieter opener might have been kinder to them. I don't know how the fuck you be quiet when you're Linkin Park. Maybe that was an idea. The new album is called From Zero, and that's actually a nod towards the original band name before they were called Linkin Park. Just like how Hybrid Theory, that was also their name for like a brief second in between there. I think this is sweet. I think as a band, they are trying to acknowledge their roots, saying we don't want to like replace Chester or forget Chester, but we also do not want to throw all of this in the bin. Could you imagine how much hard work all of them would have had to go through to get them to that point? Do you know what I mean? It would be a shame to just see it disappear into nothing one day. So tricky. The first single was called The Emptiness Machine. I cannot explain how I felt listening to the song. If someone showed me this song and I had zero knowledge of what it was, I would have said this lent heavily into Linkin Park. Are you a Linkin Park tribute band, sir? It is heavy on the LP. Like, that stick is well done. I think people get a little bit I swear to the laws if I have to take speech therapy. Completely forgot the word I was going to say. Muddled. I think people kind of get muddled between being respectful and grieving and being able to also move on. Like, I think people get really stuck in one place. And there is still a respectful way to do things without not doing it at all. I'm not on the fence. I am the fence. Welcome to the party. I am going to feel like I am walking on eggshells this whole time unless I say this. We've gotten into the fence discussion, so let me just bear with me. Let me get this out for the people that need to hear it. Chester is always champ. Any like pro or positive thing that I say about this new era of the band, I'm not putting it above Chester. Okay, I'm good. It doesn't mean you have to agree with me. There's been mixed feelings over Emily, but we shouldn't forget the bucket loads of love that the new music has been receiving. It might as well be Valentine's Day and these new singles are manning the kissing booth. I think any music complaints towards Emily not sounding like Chester, I'm confused. I feel like bringing in a copycat would do Chester more of a disservice. Disservice? It would be kind of offensive. I mean, like I said this already, but it's the same thing goes. It's like if you brought in another carbon copy, like what are you saying? Like, whoopsies, he's not here anymore.
What the fuck is this, man? Literally, this is the new lead singer for Linkin Park, okay? Her name's Emily and she's from the band Dead Sarah. But at this point, you should have just rebranded the entire band. Because what I had to listen to, and I'm sure any other millennial could agree with it, was not Linkin Park. I'm sorry, I'm a hardcore fan, okay? That man literally saved my motherfucking life. And for you to allow her to sing the songs of which he shined the most in, just feels so disrespectful to me, man. And then now listening to the new music, it sounds nothing like Linkin Park. And look, no offense to Emily, okay, but this is not a good fit for you. And I get they want to bring back the Linkin Park name, but at the same time, that is impossible without somebody like Chester fucking Bennington. And then you have the new drummer, and I'm sorry, but that drummer was fully offbeat on every single song. And then her vocals, look, she's talented in her own way, okay? But she will never sound anywhere as similar as Chester. So honestly, at this point, I'm just going to start a petition to rebrand Linkin Park. It should no longer be called Linkin Park. You should no longer sing any songs associated with Linkin Park because it obviously does not sound the same. And there are quite literally millions of people that agree with me at this very moment. I miss Chester so motherfucking much, dude. I can't even tell you enough. And when I tell you that man saved my life, I literally mean that man saved my motherfucking life.
I'm in two places with this video. It broke me because I know the bands that like literally saved me and the bands that I feel like that towards me, and if I had lost those artists. And I think there are going to be some fans like this that just want the legacy to just stay there. Just don't be touched. That old music is not going anywhere. Like, you don't have to listen to the new music, but I think it's the drama side of things, which is like maybe it has the potential to tarnish the name of Linkin Park, which I do understand that side.
Joe and Dave and I started getting together more and more often, and the intention wasn't to like start the band up again or whatever. We were just slowly coming together. And eventually things just started to fall into place with Emily and with Colin, our new drummer. It snuck up on us a little bit. And I remember like Joe and I talked about, you know, putting her voice on some things that we had already written that only had my voice on them. Once we did that, it was like, oh, that sounds really good. Like we should try that on even more songs. It was never a situation of like, let's find a singer or let's write an album. It was just making stuff and getting together. And truthfully, that's the way, I think that's the only reason it worked.
Heavy as a Crown, the second single, dropped on a Wednesday after they played it as a live debut the night before, which I think was like in London? Was it in London? I don't know. Love it though. Would smash. Next question. I haven't looked into this, but I gotta talk about it, and you guys probably know the answer, but there is like this AI video going around of Chester with the band, and I'm sorry, but it creeps me out. I think it's just like AI really scares me. Bro, when that popped up on my Instagram feed, shivers. AI or whatever the soggy biscuits that is, I want to be back in the 1600s with a hoop and stick. No, I'm just kidding, bro. I'm an iPad kid like the rest of you. So Chester's mom said that she was promised that she was going to get told when the band was returning, and apparently she didn't. Allegedly. I feel like I should be throwing that word around more. Same thing kind of goes with Chester's son. Not super happy about Emily. I'm not the people there, so like, but hey, that's a piece of information that's floating around. Emily is up next. I promise we are rowing this boat together, but this band drop was just messy, man. There was also drama with the tour pre-sales of tickets. Linkin Park Underground, it's the official fan page. They were giving out pre-sale codes. The thing is, to be a part of this little fan page, it's something like $25 to join. But these codes weren't working in letting people in to buy tickets. I would love to hear about this from someone in the LP Underground to see how that rollout happened. Many places have a community. I have a Patreon, Discord, and for example, when my clothing brand dropped in the coming month, I will do a tiered rollout. Like, of course, Patreon are going to get the link first, and then my Discord family. Like, it's not going to be huge. It's probably like a day or two between each one. But I won't be doing that to try and grab you guys, be like, yeah, you have to join my Patreon if you want to get the link 3 days early. Like, no. I'm doing that because I'm thanking the people that have been in that community. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. So it's called Muted and it's based around mental health. I will put the link down below. It's fine. I have nothing to do this weekend. I'll set the website up. If the LP Underground was doing the same thing, it could have been a cash grab. I don't know. I wasn't at the board meeting that day. I had to wash my bagel. Moving on. So Emily Armstrong. Fucking get to the point, Moo. Where does she come into all this? This new vocalist, Emily, she has been accused of being an SA supporter. I actually think it's really important to have a bit of a deeper look into this Danny Masterson case because I don't think it's as simple as this person committed a crime and she went onto the stand to defend him. But I'm gonna do my best to give you the Roadrunner version. So he is an American actor. I recognized him from that 70s show. This man raped at least 3 women in the early 2000s and he didn't go to jail until 2023. Like, I need you to hold my hand through this. He wasn't convicted in 2003, right? That's just when it all went down. One of the SA accusations came from an ex-girlfriend, which that shit rubs me the wrong way. Like, if you were dating someone, if you were a partner with someone, you worship that person, man or woman, no matter what way you swing, no matter if you're a lass or a lad. Get this, Danny Masterson, Scientologist, and so were his victims. One of the victims stated a heavily protected Masterson was seen at the time as an untouchable member of the Church of Scientology. Though apparently the Church of Scientology attempts to silence victims, and apparently that's what caused a 20-year delay, but like, I'm sure that Danny Masterson wasn't running up to the cops super eager to go to jail. It links back up with Emily, so just like keep this in your dome. Crime, very early 2000s. Jail, 2023. The shit is that. I'm gonna rewind back a little bit to 2020. Emily Armstrong was one of the people that showed up to support him in like the start of this trial. Since September this year, Emily released a statement saying, "I'm new to so many of you and wanted to clear the air about something that happened a while back. Several years ago, I was asked to support someone I considered a friend at a court appearance, and I went to one early hearing as an observer. Soon after, I realized that I shouldn't have. Unimaginable details emerged, and he was later found guilty." Emily Armstrong isn't like the only person that we publicly know that has also gotten in trouble for doing this. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. I've never had to say that out loud before, and I know that I butchered names, like someone who cuts meat for a living. I don't want to throw Ashton Kutcher and Mila to the butcher over this, but like, it was all over the press. But because more people have a very similar story to Emily, makes me think that Danny Masterson could actually be an incredibly manipulative person. Oh, see, that's a very strong word for me to use. That's not very picket fence of me. I could see how those dots line up, and the more people that there are that were like, no, like 100%, he's a good guy. I'm just gonna let that sit with you as a possibility. I'm not for or against on this one. Honestly, if I had to pick a side, I would lose sleep over it, but I'd love to know what you guys think. Welcome to the cult section. Now, there is a couple things that derail the kind of two possibilities of this being complete innocence. Allegedly, Emily is a part of the Church of Scientology. The internet is also spinning stories on how her mother is fairly high up in the ranks of Scientology, meaning it's most likely that Emily was born into this. This is all allegedly. I am still a sturdy picket fence. If you're like me and you don't really understand what Scientology is, you know, like Scientology, bad cult religion, but that's about it. It's some messy details, but I will try and enlighten some details just in case Suri is doing that thing where she is vastly unhelpful. Open the webpage to find it. No, just read it to me! From the 1950s by a science fiction writer, if that doesn't say enough. It is considered a religion in the United States, but a cult just everywhere else. It takes a lot of money from its members, and there's different accusations about abuse, human trafficking, all sorts of things, but because of the really strict guidelines, I think that's what leads to the cover-ups of things like Danny Masterson's case. I'm just going to follow that with the big word of allegedly.
The policies that forbid Scientologists from reporting to law enforcement, the consequences for a Scientologist if they were to violate that, where Scientology will then work systematically to destroy your life, your family, your livelihood.
When I was younger, I did think that the Church of Scientology was for people that love science. Absolutely! Space? Saturn? While researching this, I saw that a lot of articles were credited to Cedric, the vocalist of the Mars Volta. He claims to know Emily and know that she supports Danny Masterson. You do need to keep in mind that Cedric does have an emotional tie to this though, because his wife Chrissy is very publicly known as Jane Doe 3, a victim of Danny Masterson.
He wrote, "Remember Emily? Remember how your fellow Scientologist goon squad surrounded one of the Jane Does when she was trying to leave the elevators? The court sheriffs had to escort her away from your awful cult.
Cult and cult organizations seem terrifying and near impossible to leave. And I can imagine how that would intensify with having other family members involved. So what, you're just gonna leave the cult and never see your family ever again? Or worst case scenario, you leave and they punish your family for leaving. I might not be an expert on Scientology, but I've watched my fair share of true crime and Anthony Padilla videos. We stand to grow an emo king. For those reasons alone, you know, the word cult, I can see why she hasn't spoken out about it or about it yet.
We just can't have nice things anymore, can we? I went to bed thinking, oh my gosh, we're so back. Linkin Park are back, and they've got a female vocalist. Let's fucking go. Turns out that everything sucks still, and I want to lie in traffic. It does look like there is an online paper trail that leads Emily Armstrong, the new vocalist of Linkin Park, to Scientology, which is a very controversial organisation and has been likened to being a cult. They have some very questionable views on homosexuality, for example. I try to have empathy for people in these situations because, you know, not everybody has a choice whether they can be involved in these organisations. Sometimes they're born into it. Sometimes, you know, these organisations tend to prey on vulnerable people and manipulate them and brainwash them. So it's not always an active choice these people are making. But the Danny Masters and stuff, that one's jabbing me right in the heart.
I think this whole thing's like really upset me because, come and look over my shoulder real quick, if all the possible bad things are what is true, that pisses me off. But if like it's actually the best possible solutions and like maybe she's like gone through shit and we've turned what could be a nice new era of like really shit because we're metalheads and we have trust issues, people suck. And it sucks. Not that I hope that this has happened to her, like it would be so shitty for like a friend to use you to try and help them get out of a crime that they did commit. Also like lie to you the whole time that you've known them. As shitty as all that is, I kind of hope that it's true. I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned over the past couple of years is being able to separate the artist from the art. As a fan, idolizing someone and putting them up on a pedestal, you're only ever going to be led to disappointment because we're all messed up, brother. Look at Dave Grohl. I thought that he was the purest man in rock and he went and shot a baby out of someone that wasn't his wife. Can confidently say that I support Emily as a vocalist. I like this new era of Linkin Park. I think it's close enough to sounding like Linkin Park that it's not like, just bloody change your name. It sounds nothing like it. My ears enjoy what they heard and I appreciate the amount of time that they left before going, hey, let's continue this, and they didn't force it either. I think her first live performance was great considering how incredibly nervous she probably was. I think since then the live performances have gotten a lot better. I could never, and I'm sure half the people bitching about how terrible her voice sounds, I'm sure they also could never. I didn't mean to project that onto you. I'm just saying like I can't sing, so like who am I to make a comment on it? Well, actually, I don't really listen to terrible singers, do I? You know that you used to boogie to Metro Station Shake It in your bedroom. Don't act like you have acquired taste. You guys let me know what you think, and these videos also take me 3 weeks to edit, so if new stuff has come out or there's evidence to put my hot cocoa hour at ease, kindly chit chat down below. I'm not gonna squish your sparkle. If you want to share fun facts, share fun facts. Anyway, subscribe if you enjoyed. I'm going to hell. Help us get to 40k. Thank you to everyone who's new here. We have grown so fast. Thank you to Patreons and YouTube members. I wish I could hand deliver you apple slices. That's how much you mean to me. I hate chunky apple slices. Like, I like them to be thin. Like, think like almond slivers. Like, you're gonna cut the apple up into quarters? What are you, a fucking caveman? No. We believe in 54ths here.